every one of us. But he is a God that reveals mysteries, things unknown, and it appears that these things are from outside of time, because he sends his word to prophets thousands of years ago, and they describe seeing visions of things that we see in our world today. They saw the future. And when God does that, there's good reason why he does that. I'm not saying I know every reason why he does it, but I do know that he reveals secrets. And one thing I've noticed is that in the world we're in, and I'm included in this, we have a hard time believing that he can reveal something in our time by him showing the prophets thousands of years ago, by showing them visions of things that would be to come, things that would happen in the world with time. So that's why I say it appears to be from outside of time. Whoa, we're gonna go around this guy. I guess we're taking the other road. Ooh, fancy. Almost missed my exit. Oh, there goes my bike. Driving crazy over here. So there's one mystery that, I mean, here's the other thing. I don't know if when he reveals a mystery, I don't know if he's doing that for everyone to understand or have something revealed to them, or if it's maybe just for a few. I don't know, but I've discovered a mystery, and this seems, it's not a mystery, it's something that has happened in our history, and we have it's documented in the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and it's also mind-blowing, the things that we count as objective. Like, everybody knows that, you know what I mean? Well, so I want to talk about hell, or Sheol. There's something that I've let go of, and it's not because I have some understanding or something. I've just let go of something about hell because of the Gospels. And also it has to do with the book of Enoch too. Enoch was a prophet of God. My bike's gonna slam against the wall. Maybe not. Enoch was a prophet of God, seventh from Adam. So he's the seventh generation from Adam. And something I recently learned is that Enoch was, between Enoch and Jesus, there was 70 generations. 70 generations. So from Adam to Jesus, there was 77 generations. And I never really thought that mattered or anything until I read the book of Enoch many years ago, but I didn't pick up on this until just recently, and it's changed my outlook on really all of history. It has to do with hell. There's two things I connected together, and I don't know, I when he was crucified, he descended into the heart of the earth, into the ground. Descended into the heart of the earth for 3 days, and then he was resurrected. And like in Matthew 27, it says that the people that were there when he was crucified, like the centurion and the people that were there, once Jesus gave up the ghost, or gave up his spirit or whatever, all these natural things happened, these bizarre things happened in the world, and the people that were there were watching these happen, and it was blowing their mind. Like the centurion was like, so there was an earthquake, the rocks were rent, the temple veil was torn from the top to the bottom, and the thing that, like, I used to think of it differently, but it said many bodies of the saints came up out of their graves and went into the holy city. Well, I used to think of that as kind of like dead people walking, you know, like going into Jerusalem or whatever, and because it says that the centurion and the people that were there, that they saw those things happen, and that the centurion said, surely this was the Son of God. Like, the things that they saw happen after Jesus died was, to them, it was evidence that he was the Son of God. That they had just crucified. Well, that's the understanding I had, that people walked into the city in Jerusalem and were like walking around amongst people or something. And I was wrong. That's not what happened. Where's the holy city? Well, it could be two places. You could call it, you could say it would be Jerusalem or whatever. But I believe that it's not on the ground. It's not on the earth. I think it's the holy city, the temple of God, is New Jerusalem, which comes out of heaven from God. So, if you just consider where those saints went, they came up out of their graves. Their bodies came up out of their graves, and they went into the holy city. Now, how does this? What are we talking about? Hell for Sheol? Well, that's where they all were, in the heart of the earth. So Sheol, when a person would die, like let's just say Adam and Eve or whatever, anyone from Adam and Eve until the time when Jesus was here, when they died, their soul would go to Sheol, and Sheol had like two sides. There was like a side where righteous souls were, and then there's a side where wicked souls were. And when Jesus died, he descended into the heart of the earth. And I don't care if like I was saying before about people have these ideas that think certain things are objective, you know. Everybody knows that hell's in the heart of the earth. No, it's not in the heart of the earth. It was, but Jesus changed that. That's why he descended into hell for 3 days. Now, the resurrection of the saints already happened. It's in Matthew 27. Many bodies of the saints were resurrected, and they went into the holy city, and they appeared unto many. So people saw this. People saw this happening. And the evidence that they saw this happen was like the centurion was like, oh wow, this surely was the Son of God. We screwed up, you know. So there was a resurrection of the saints when Jesus was crucified. Now, does that mean there's no more hell in the heart of the earth? Well, you wouldn't get that from reading the Gospels, but in the book of Enoch, seventh from Adam, Enoch prophesied of something that would happen after 70 generations. Remember what I was saying? Enoch was seventh from Adam, and 70 generations from the time of Jesus. So it just so happens that Enoch prophesied about the generation that Jesus came into the world in. And what he prophesied was in chapter 10 of the book of Enoch. He said, that these fallen angels that had made a pact with each other to take human wives and create offspring, and this is a whole nother story, but those fallen angels, they were given a judgment, and it was God told I think Michael to bind them, like after they had seen the destruction of their offspring. I think it was Michael, the archangel. God told Michael to bind Azazel and his associates, those fallen angels, to bind them in the heart of the earth. In the what did it say in the book of Enoch? Yeah, bind them in the heart of the earth for 70 generations. Is it a coincidence that when Jesus was crucified, that it was 70 generations? That was the exact time that Enoch was prophesying that these fallen angels would be moved. They would be removed from the heart of the earth, and they would be brought to the abyss of fire. It's not a coincidence, guys. So when I hear people say hell's in the heart of the earth, I feel like God has revealed something thousands of years ago that really wouldn't have made any sense to anyone until like maybe now. But for sure it wouldn't have made sense to anyone until Jesus came. But so when Jesus was crucified and descended into the heart of the earth, and this is in other books too, the first book of Adam and Eve, Jesus himself, the Word of God, prophesied to Adam, because Adam was really grieving about being in the earth rather than the heavenly abode, or the Garden of Eden. And he wanted rest, and so he was asking the Word of God, when can we come back into the garden? And Jesus said to Adam, he said, not until the day that I descend into the heart of the earth, or that I shed my blood on Golgotha and descend into the heart of the earth and break the bars of brass and the chains of iron, or something like that. And he said, then I will bring you into my kingdom. So Jesus told Adam that when he was crucified, that's when he would bring Adam and all of his offspring that were righteous, he would bring them to heaven, to the Garden of Eden, where there would be rest. And he said, the only place where there's rest is heaven. But so the heart of the earth, would Sheol exist if there was no souls to inhabit it? Because in Matthew 27, Jesus resurrected those saints that were dead, that were in the ground, They were resurrected and they went into New Jerusalem. That's a big deal. Because if in Enoch 10 it says Michael's told to bind those fallen angels for 70 generations in the valleys of the earth. And then it said once that judgment was consummated, there would be another judgment. And then it says, in those days, they shall be led off to the abyss of fire. So when Jesus was here in his generation, Enoch had said that during that generation, that the fallen angels would be taken out of the heart of the earth and they would be brought to this abyss of fire. And to think that hell's in the heart of the earth, I don't think hell would be in the heart of the earth if there's no souls to inhabit it. And rather, hell would be this abyss of fire, Sheol. And it's also revealed in like 2nd Esdras and I'm not sure where else, but that in those last days that where was it in there? That was in 2nd Esdras. It was prophesied that the promised land, the land of milk and honey, New Jerusalem, the Garden of Eden, I don't know, it probably has lots of different names, that would be revealed, and across from it would be torment. There's like a great divide, and there's two sides. There's one of torment and one of rest, I guess. Where is New Jerusalem? Jesus said it comes down out of heaven from God. It's the holy city, the city of my God. That it's across from that. That's where torment is today. Hell's not in the heart of the earth. And if you are interested in this topic at all, or this subject at all, I'd like to hear people's input. I don't know if I'm making myself clear about it, but I think it's time that we start to believe what's being revealed in these ancient prophets' writings. Because like I said, I think God operates outside of time, and that's a concept I don't grasp, but I see it happening. So read Matthew 27. The centurion knew what was going on because he saw those things happen. He's like, uh-oh, I think we messed up. So I was just listening to a podcast with a biblical cosmology pastor and someone else named Josh, and I'm not sure who he was, but it was a great conversation they were having. And towards the end, Josh had mentioned that he said, we have to understand that hell's in the heart of the earth. And I'm like, that's why I'm making this video. Hell's not in the heart of the earth, guys. It was from the time of Adam to the time of Jesus. Jesus changed all that. He led those fallen angels off to the abyss, and he resurrected the souls of the saints and brought them up to heaven. There's people in heaven right now. And that's why when people are talking about the millennial kingdom and this conversation of if it's like the time when Satan would be loosed for a short season, I don't really understand all that, but I do think that there's something there. I think we are maybe living, I don't know if it'd be called post-millennium, because maybe when he's ruling and reigning for 1,000 years, maybe that's in heaven. He does have his kingdom up there, and he is ruling and reigning in his kingdom. So I don't know all the details, but just something to consider. I think if you're looking at hell being in the heart of the earth, you're not going to notice that there's a bottomless pit that they call outer space, the solar system. Everything in the solar system is perpetually falling around some other body of mass. So, whatever you believe, but don't be deceived into saying space is fake. There's people faking it. NASA's faking it. No, they're not. NASA believes in it. And they've been duped into believing that a bottomless pit of darkness is somehow their future. And what if it is? That's scary. All right, guys. Have a good one.